In the span of 72 hours, leadership changes in the UM system and at Mizzou will have reaction. Plus, the man who threatened to shoot black MU students over social media appears in court. And a Target 8 investigation into the now former MU chancellor's handling of Planned Parenthood uncovers a larger issue. KOMU 8 News at 10 starts now.
After hours of deliberation and a night of sleep, the UM system has a new interim president. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Reek. Thanks for joining us. Mike Middleton is a familiar face on the MU campus. The student group concerned, Student 1950, approves the selection. KOMU 8 Samantha Myers is live on campus with the rest of the story.
Mike Middleton replaces Tim Wolf, who resigned on Monday. Today he spoke and said he is honored to be. The changes to the UM system didn't end today with appointing Middleton. The UM curators also announced that today that it accelerated Chancellor R. Bowen Lofton's resignation to be effective today. He was replaced by Hank FOLEY. FOLEY was Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Research, and Development before being appointed interim chancellor. Originally, Lofton was going to stay until the end of the year. Reporting live on the MU campus, Samantha Myers, KOMU 8 News.
In response to Middleton's hiring, people on and around campus are giving their expectations for the new interim president. KOMU 8 spoke with people who said they have high hopes for Middleton.
Understanding that things aren't going to happen quickly, but there are little things that can happen system-wide that will help to change the culture, not only on Mizzou's campus, but on other campuses as well.
My first thought was he's the guy that can put this whole thing together and bring all the different parties involved, sit them down at one table and put some things in place that can get Mizzou moving in the right direction.
Logston added even though Mizzou has its issues, he is happy with where the school is going.
Here's more reaction to Middleton's hiring. Columbia State Senator Kurt Schaefer says Middleton has, quote, an incredibly difficult task ahead to restore leadership and trust in the MU system that has been lacking. I join all who care about our university's future in hoping he is successful. Governor Nixon says with interim leadership in place, I urge the Board of Curators to select a permanent president through a process that is thoughtful, transparent, inclusive, and efficient.
Hunter Park, the man who made multiple threats on Yik Yak against MU students, will stay in jail. A judge denied bond today. Court documents showed Park had a deep interest in the recent school shooting in Oregon. The defense attorney cited Park's medical conditions as one of the reasons for requesting a $10,000 bond along with internet restrictions. He also said Park cooperated with officers at the time of the investigation. The state prosecutors opposed the request because of the severity of the threats he made. Park's next court appearance is next Wednesday, November 18th. For the past week, social media has been used as an outlet for many to spread messages in light of the recent events in MU, but not everyone has used it kindly. Posts like these have shown up on social media outlets within the past week, and one led to an arrest. KOMU 8's interactive director said social media presents a false perception that the users are anonymous.
So people start to feel brazen, and they're openly admitting feelings that they might not ever say to someone standing right next to them.
She said social media at its best is when it's used for a platform for conversation and dialogue.
MUPD says a sign at the Black Culture Center was spray painted about 1 o'clock this morning. Police are looking at nearby surveillance video for clues. Here's a look at the vandalized sign with the word black blotted out. MU Operations says campus workers cleaned the sign about 2 hours later. Chief Doug Schwantz says MUPD and the Highway Patrol will have increased security presence on campus for the foreseeable future. MU leadership said in a statement this act is not acceptable. Police will be present at the Culture Center while supporting and protecting students. Anyone with information on the spray painting should contact MUPD or Crime Stoppers at 875-TIPS.
A group of about 15 to 20 people prayed for unity near MU's columns this afternoon. KOMU 8's Chris Gothner is here to tell us what they think the campus needs so it can come together.
I talked to the organizer of today's prayer group. She says she felt a calling yesterday to do something about the unrest. She says after all the recent turmoil, the MU campus needs to come together. They hope to spread a message of love, saying that's what MU needs now more than ever. They say prayer will help heal the many wounds evident over the past few weeks.
Seeing all this unrest and the hatred and the blame, it's just really unsettling, and it just makes me want to go out and spread God's love.
Rich told me she isn't sure if there will be more prayer events in the coming days. She says it's up to God to decide.
The Jewish student organization Chabad was at Speaker's Circle today, pushing a positive spin. They asked students to sign a pledge to do a good deed in the future and pin their pledge to a Spread Love board. One of the goals is to encourage diversity.
I pledge to continue loving everyone, because sometimes it's hard to love everyone, and no matter what anyone's beliefs are, that doesn't mean you need to hate them for it. You need to respect them for them and their beliefs.
The group says it faced no opposition, but collected few pledges.
A windy couple of days in Columbia is now leading to colder weather, so let's check in with Kenton with a look at the next few days.
Brittany, thank you very much. Good evening. Coming up later in the show.
Members are not a governmental body, and emails are not a public record.
We investigate why lawmakers don't have to let you see what they're typing on .gov emails. Coming up.
When it comes to Missouri lawmakers, what is public and what is private, especially when it comes to public resources?
There's been a lot of talk recently about politicians and what's private. Target 8 Chief Investigator Jamie Gray joins us to talk about emails and access.
Well, Jim, Brittany, while working on a Target 8 story about Planned Parenthood, we came across a problem. Lawmaker emails kept under wraps from you, the public. KOMU 8's Rose Schmidt investigated for us. She's live at the Capitol now to explain why senators and representatives in some cases aren't turning over emails, and we found don't have to.
Thanks, Jamie. Earlier tonight, I talked about emails containing information about the University of Missouri's ties to Planned Parenthood. Now, those emails were not easy to get. Now, this brings a question about retention rates for us. Reporting live from Jefferson City, Rose Schmidt, KOMU 8 News.
Thanks, Rose. Now, you may wonder, is this typical estatekeeping.gov email accounts unavailable for public scrutiny? Well, no, not everywhere. At least 15 states, including our neighbors, Illinois, Arkansas, and Tennessee, make government emails public. We mentioned the retention issue. We will continue to follow this story.
Jamie, thank you very much. Still to come after weather, European countries tighten their borders again.
To change, but we'll continue to track it throughout the weekend.
We sure need some rain.
We definitely do.
All right, Kenton, thanks.
You're welcome.
A new taxi service will roll into Fulton next month. The city approved a taxi license for K&M Transportation. It's the first taxi license Fulton has issued since the 1970s. The startup owner says she wants to provide rides for those who can't drive around town on their own.
If you're snowed in, I will go get your groceries for you and bring them to you, or run your errands, as well as providing a taxi service.
Johnson is looking for a building for the new business. She hopes to offer rides by December 1st.
Who's claiming responsibility for one of the deadliest attacks in the Middle East in the past few years? That's coming up, but first, your lottery numbers. Mexican police say 13 students from a teacher's college hijacked a fuel tanker and tried to fight police. The students were from the same college attended by 43 students who disappeared last year. Police say the drivers tried to hit police cars during the chase. Mexican authorities say they turned the students over to human rights officials.
2 suicide bombings killed at least 37 people and injured 180 more in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. ISIS has claimed responsibility. It's one of the deadliest attacks in 2 years. It targeted the Shiite Muslim militant movement Hezbollah, which has been fighting ISIS along with the Syrian government. Iraqi TV reports 90% of Sinjar has been retaken. An estimated 7,500 Kurdish fighters are taking part. Today they launched a ground attack with support of U.S. aircraft. ISIS overran Sinjar last year, which caused thousands of residents to run.
European leaders met today to try and come up with ways to prevent migrants from entering Europe. But those talks became overshadowed by word that Sweden, Germany, and Slovenia tightened their borders today. German officials say they blocked 40 migrants from entering Sweden. European leaders say they're trying their best to keep travel open between borders, which has been taxed by all the migrants. It has been a wild week in Colombia, but the Tigers still have a game to play at Arrowhead Stadium this weekend. A preview in sports.
Mr. Trevino, when was the last time you were on the sideline for a Missouri game in Kansas City at Arrowhead? And I know...
It would have to be the last one with Kansas, right?
Yep.
2011.
The weather wasn't very good. Do you remember that?
Yes, but I'm looking forward to better weather. 60s, Kenton says.
Lower 60s
no rain after the last time out. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
That's our time.
You can't dampen my outlook for nice weather Saturday night.
I love it. Can't dampen.